What I'd like to do is I'd actually like to start sanding down this car and prepping it for paint. This should be like 50, 60 bucks. Shouldn't be that bad. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Broke Premiere. So, as I'm sure you guys saw, still got the Volkswagen. I try my best, to be honest. I think I listed it pretty dang aggressively. Yeah, I got a couple of hits, and I did the same thing. I got laxed, and I was kind of pet sitting at the time, so I just made a bunch of excuses why I couldn't go sell it at that moment, which I'm kind of mad at myself. Anyway, is what it is. Unfortunately, this thing is still here. Hopefully I can sell it this week. But what I'm sure you all have been waiting for is to see what these keys are to. So let me show you. This is a 2008 Mazda-3. It has 136,000 miles, and I picked it up for 800 bucks. Now, obviously the paint's pretty bad. I bought this in the middle of the night again. I knew parts of it were bad. I didn't realize that all the tops were shot, but it's okay. I had already planned for something like this to be the problem. The other main issue is that I bought this because the kid who owned it overheated it. Now, he thought it was the coolant tank that was leaking because when he filled it, it went empty. But first, I just kind of want to show you around. I mean, the interior is really not that bad. There's a couple little spots that I'm gonna have to wash. I really just think that cushion has a little stain on it, a light stain. But overall, the interior looks pretty dang good. I don't think I'm gonna have to do much, maybe just a nice vacuum, but he's kept it pretty clean, so I'm not too concerned. Now, as far as the coolant, like I said, he mentioned that when he filled up the tank, the coolant tank, it immediately went empty, or within the 5 minutes from driving home after it got hot originally. Now, being that he doesn't know much about cars, it kind of made sense what he was saying, that it was probably something different. So if you look, the coolant tank starts and ends right there. There's no more to it. So there was no leaking out of the coolant tank when I got there. So of course we filled it up, we took it on the test drive, and my first thought was it's probably just a thermostat, which is perfect. I'll replace the thermostat, everything will run fine. But as we drove, I noticed that it was getting a little hot, then it would cool down, a little hot, then it would cool down, meaning the thermostat was holding, then opening. So then my next thought is, okay, it's either head gasket or just a blown hose somewhere, maybe a leaky radiator. Now the radiator was bone dry. Nothing around it was wet when we got back. But then, if you look back here, you can see there's a little glistening, there's a little puddle of coolant. So then again, I thought, okay, maybe it is the thermostat, or at least a gasket around the thermostat, or it could be the head gasket. You know, that is the gamble. It could be a head gasket. I mean, there's no other signs of the head gasket blown, so my fingers are crossed that it's just a thermostat gasket. But first, what I'd like to do is I'd actually like to start sanding down this car and prepping it for paint. So what I've been noticing is I've been working on a lot of mechanic stuff and then working on the looks of the car, but that always sets me back. So if this paint has to dry for a week, I might as well do it now, then work on the mechanic stuff. Even if the mechanic goes bad, it'll be worth more with a decent looking coat of paint on it. Being that it's already Friday today and I've been trying to find any flips I could, I'm hoping to get this whole thing done today. Now, judging by the wind, I don't think I'm gonna be able to start painting today. But I can at least start sanding it, washing it, getting it ready to paint. And then hopefully tomorrow morning, I can actually get a coat on this, and then next week maybe I'll do the gasket. So that's it. Time to get at it. All right, so it is the next day. Basically, I was able to sand everything down. It all came out pretty good. I am seeing some spots that I want to fix. This was not supposed to be this rough. It looks like something got caught in my sandpaper and made some worse scratches. So I'm gonna try to clean this up a little bit. But overall, the rest of the paint came out really well. I did hit some bare spots that I saw with primer last night that I had laying around. But the next thing we need to do before we even start messing around with this again is I actually need to run to the store and pick up the paint, also some drop cloth so that I can cover most of the car. So let's get at it, guys. All right, so we are back now, and luckily, guys, I was able to find the cheap Duplicolor paint. So no more $150 paint job. This should be like 50, 60 bucks. Shouldn't be that bad. So if you look, I was able to get, what is it called? Black mica from Duplicolor. So we got 3 cans, should be plenty. And this time I got 3 cans of clear coat, should be enough. Got the drop cloth, got some tape. First thing we're gonna do is tape up everything, then drop the drop cloth and start spraying. Let's get at it. All right, guys, it's all finished. So I'm pretty happy. One of the things I did realize is that any of the panels that were in the direct sun, the paint dries so quick that it doesn't really get to that shimmer part yet. So I do think I'm gonna have to do a lot of wet sanding and buffing. But overall, I mean, the texture's pretty good. I don't think it'll be too bad to get a nice finish on this. But I mean, for what, 50 bucks in paint, I'm really happy. We'll have to see how it all buffs out next episode. But it came out pretty dang good. But as you can see here, like, this was the shady spot. Look how nice that shimmer is. Really nice. So definitely a difference of painting it in a nice cool spot compared to in the beaten sun. So yeah, guys, I think that's gonna wrap up this episode. Next episode, we're gonna replace that gasket. I'm going to wet sand and buff this whole car. And then the last thing I have to do is I actually have to vacuum the thing as well. So it's gonna be a pretty packed episode next week. And I also have to work on this guy. Yeah, next episode is going to be very packed. This car needs the hydraulic lifter lashers replaced on the left side, or actually I guess from here, the right side lifter arm. I was gonna buy the whole arm. It's about 500 bucks to get them sent out. Refurbished on eBay, I still kind of take the risk of someone doing what I'm about to do. It's still about $300. So I just grabbed the lashers. It's gonna be about 100 bucks. It's gonna be a pretty intensive episode next week. So until then, guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you then. Later, guys.